waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highway. On we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat.
G'day everybody, Seano here again. How is everybody out there in YouTube land? Back with a little bit more of Supercoach content, doing a live video today. Can go through your team if you would like, just let me know the name and we can go through with it on stream. Before we get started, don't forget we're trying to get to 300 subs before the end of the AFL season, so about 50 to go. So if you can help me out with that by hitting that subscribe button, that'd be great. And if you like the video, give me a like and leave a comment down below. While we're waiting for some people to join, don't forget to check out my other two videos this week, my round review and my trade time video. Been lots of good response to those ones, so appreciate that. And yeah, if anyone who missed that, we'll have a quick recap, just a quick, while we're waiting for a few people to join to have a chat to. This week got a score of 2,052. Could have been much better. It wasn't the worst, but it could have been much better. We won our league and we won 2 out of our 4 draft leagues. So we won the important league, the big league, the league that I organise every year. So we're in 7th spot now there, which is better than where we were last week. I think we dropped out to 9th last week. So really desperately trying to keep those players in. So decent performance from most of our players. We've got the team kind of set up how we want it for the end of the season. A quick look at my trades for this week. That way you don't have to listen to me crap on for hours. You can see what I'm up to and jump off if you don't have the time. Undo trades, let's have a look. So this week we got McCarthy in for Clark, and that allows us, and Roberts down to Butters, Roberts out for Butters. That leaves me 19k in the back and 4 trades. 19k in the back or in the bank, and 4 trades. So do we need a Ralph Wiggum already with the 19k in a bank? Do we need to do this?
Me fail English? That's impossible.
I think we might have to. Well, we just did. So yep, so 19k in the bank. Butters and my mate McCarthy come into the team, and I don't mind the look of the team. It could be better, but I don't mind the look of it. So overall we've got a backline's going to be Sinclair, Dale. This is pretty much locked into. At best I could potentially get one more premium or do one more upgrade with a rookie in the flex. So this is what my team I'm going to have to live with now. Sinclair, Dale, Wanganeen, Malera, Zorko, Whitfield and Mills. Brayshaw, Butters, Bontempelli, Dacos, Rao, Sheasel, Cardwell and Doherty. Gawn and Sherry, and Smith, Petrarca, Daniel, Darcy, Warner and Rankinine. And at the moment with Tom McCarthy in the flex. Like I said, with only 4 trades to go, if we had by some miracle no injuries, and we could potentially go like 2 down 1 up or 3 down 1 up at the end of the with a couple of games left to go in the season, maybe we could get ourselves a 23rd primo or upgrade someone. If McCarthy is smashing out 90s every week or 90s or 100s, maybe we could upgrade a rank or a Doherty or, whoever's not performing. But I don't really think I've got the trades to do that. It's just going to be, this is the team we're going to have to live with, and we're going to have to see how we go. Now, not super happy with the team. It's a very much a cookie cutter team, very similar to a lot of other teams out there. I think I looked at the, I went through the list, which tells me how picked in teams. So the lowest player I've got is Doherty, which is 1%, and then Jai Cadwell at 7%. So they're my two, like point of differences, which ain't that different. I mean, 11% Darcy. A lot more people are probably going to jump on Darcy this week at his price, and a lot more people are going to jump on Mills. So Simpson and these two, Gross and Simpson, don't count. Then Matt Rao at 16%. So I feel like my team is pretty cookie cutter. There's not a lot of point of differences there to drag me up the ladder. Hopefully, I managed to get the Sherry and the Gorn combo earlier on, so I don't need them now, even though that's probably cost me my 23rd primo on the field. So, yeah, it probably, I don't love the team, but it's going to have to do, and hopefully it's enough to get me through to my finals in Supercoach, and then hopefully it's going to be okay in the way of matchups with my opponents. For my matchup this week, I got a very tough matchup in my league. Look, it's bright light. Get the old gremlins going. Against Master Beta. Funny thing is, that is actually his name. That is actually his name, which is funny. Which I should have called. I think this first year he's called his team this, which he should have called it every year. But it's pretty funny. So yeah, Jace, very good player. It's going to be a tough game. Obviously, you don't see until they've adjusted the team what the real is going to be. But he's got coming back this week. On bye, he's got Whitfield the same as me, Smith the same as me, Martin, which is a rookie, so it's not really going to affect him, Holmes and Merritt. So, and I will have, out of my primos, I'm going to have Whitfield, Smith, Cadwell and Zorko. So we both got 4 primos out, so it's going to be very close. And coming back into his team, he'll have, out of primo wise, he'll have Dawson and Petrarca to come back in out of primo wise. So we can chuck Dawson, Petrarca 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 primos. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Thought I was doing better than that in primo wise. How am I doing primo wise this week? We'll use the helping hand for Seano. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're counting Mills. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're counting Doherty. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. With McCarthy on the bench. So maybe we will do okay. But calling Doherty, Mills is playing so far like a premium. He's doing better than some of my premiums, so I guess we're calling him a premium. Doherty, I think he has the potential to be a premium. He got what I wanted him to get this week, 99. That's exactly why I bought him. Was due for a massive score. I was patting myself on the back at quarter time when he had like 55 points. I'm like, he's going to get a monster score, and he just didn't do it. So that's my trades, that's my team. Captain and vice captain choices for me. Dacos against the Eagles. I think I might risk it. We didn't risk it last week and we got punished. We thought we were playing it safe with going into Cherry, and he got me 79 points. So maybe we risk it this week as for a monster score for Dacos against the Eagles. They should really tear our midfield apart. So I'd expect Dacos to get a pretty good score. And if you look at his last couple of scores, he's gone 147 last year, and a year before he went 123 and 125. So another year on, another year better. I expect that he should tear us apart. I don't really think we have any taggers that can go with him. They might try and put a little bit of work into him with someone there in the midfield, maybe with a Graham or something like that, but I really don't see they've got anyone that can stop him, and we'll give Bont a chance to repay 2 weeks in a row after, scaring me into not picking him. Probably would have picked him last week, but he scared me the week before with a 69 and then punished me by getting a 177 where I got a 79. Cost me pretty much 200 points, very close to 200 points last week with a bad captain choice. And I think a lot to do with my overall ranking this year has to be done with my captain choices. If we look at my history, if you guys can see this, so round position, we started off in 12,000, went out to 36, and then overall we were 12,000, then we went to 14, then we went to 3,700, and then 8,000, 8,000, 6,000, 6,000, then dropped down to 3,000. These were because of my round scores, where can we see our round score? Cumulative points, position, average, here, points scored, yeah. So we had some really good Gorn scores here where we got a 2,400, 2,400, 2,400, and 2,400. 4 2,400s in a row, which took us down to 2,360s in the ranking. And since then, it's pretty much been, that was round 10. Since then, it's been a disaster. We've only dropped. We went to 5,000, then 6,000, 8,000, and 10,000, and we stayed at 10,000 this week. So we're going to try and hope that this team comes out of the byes and scrapes its way back up the ladder. But it just shows how much a good captain. I'm pretty sure I had Gorn for most of these captains and scores here. Maybe Gorn and Cherry and maybe one of them. So it just shows how much difference a good captain score would have made. And this week, it's hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure 200 points this week, and I would have gone up instead of dropping, 600 places, I probably would have gone up a couple of thousand. Probably would have been back around 8,000, I would have said, if I had got those extra 200 points from Bont's captain score. So it does make a huge difference picking the right captain. So we're going to have to pay a little bit of attention to that from now on. We thought we were being safe just doing the Cherry and the Gorn every week, but really didn't really think about it last week. Gave probably some wrong advice to the community by just saying, go Cherry. Even when we did our live videos and we found out that Pitnet was named, we still thought that he would do better than the 79. We still thought he was good for at least 100 or so. So, it was disappointing for me, disappointing for the community. So, yeah, hopefully that's not going to happen this week. Hopefully, Dacos just doesn't give out one of these lower scores. He's had a couple of good weeks. He broke the Windhager tag. I love saying it, but I'm going to say it again. He wasn't very windy. He was just like a slight breeze. All that, I don't know if you guys watched. There was a bit of whinging by Ross Lyon. Ross Lyon's a bit of a whinger, but he likes to have a whinge. But he a bit of a whinging about the free kicks. They showed on one of the footy programs all 4 of the free kicks, and there was only one, the one that Windhager got fined for, which seemed pretty soft. We just kind of gave him a little bit of a touch on the chest, and apparently you get fined for touching people on. If you touch Nick Dacos' chest, you get a fine. But all the other free kicks that he got, the other 3, all seemed there. One, they took his head off. One was a hold, and I forget what the other one was. So I feel that he can do this. And in last year, he's had a couple of big scores, 147, 123, 1. So I feel like he can do it. And Bont is the vice captain. How's he? Against Sydney, 109, 135, 131. So at the SCG, that was a couple of years ago. So does the SCG, I don't really love the SCG as a ground. It's a smaller ground. But maybe that helps. Maybe that means it's more contested. There'll be more ruck contests. he's got more chance of getting some hit outs and getting some clearances and getting some contested possessions. So maybe that's going to be okay. The week after, I think you almost have to pick him the week after as well. He's gone huge against North Melbourne the last couple of weeks, so I'm not too sure this will be on. Oh, that'll be the Thursday night, so that'll be awesome. We'll be able to put the vice captain on Bont next week on the Thursday night and see how he goes. But he's got some monster scores against them, and then Adelaide the week after. Not as big, but I think that North Melbourne game looks like that's one where we're really going to have to hopefully trust in the Bont. Trust in the Bont for a change, Seano. Trust in the old Bont. Yeah, so that's kind of the plans this week. 4 trades isn't very much. Don't like the fact that I've only got 4 trades. You know, it's only going to take a little bit of a couple of injuries to my primos. We got 20k in the bank, so it'll basically have to go like for like. Say, I don't know, Whitfield concussion was worse than what we thought, and he was not going to come back this season or something. Do a Jeremy McGovern. Or by the way, congratulations to Jeremy McGovern on a brilliant career as an Eagles supporter. He was amazing for us, part of a premiership team. I don't think a lot of people noticed he was the fastest person to 6 All-Australians of all time, I believe. Something along those lines. He was the fastest to a certain amount of All-Australians of all time. So, you know, that's something you can be proud of, and he can be proud of a great career. And, yeah, I think definitely if it's his future health is a concern, he's definitely made the right decision to retire. And, you know, apparently he's got a level head on his shoulder. He has maybe a plumbing business, or I think I read somewhere. So, you know, he's invested well, and he can enjoy the rest of his life with his family and know that he's had a great career. And, you know, all our Eagles fans, we love him, and, you know, we'll miss him, but his overall health is much better. So well done, Jeremy McGovern. Yep, I'm sure overall the entire league likes you, except for maybe Collingwood because of that mark and everything. But overall, I'm pretty sure everyone out there thinks you're a bit of a legend. So another lot of experience gone for the Eagles. Certainly not going to help us in the back line. Certainly don't have the class to replace him. But there are a few people coming through that might be able to, hold us up for a while. But it's going to be a long time till we see another player of his class come through, I would think. For that, could be one of the best ever in that intercepting mark, roaming off type of back role. Roaming off and intercepting and reading the play could have been one of the best ever. What else can we talk about, crew, while we're waiting for some other people? If you're out there, say g'day, have a chat. I know it's a morning and a lot of people are going to be working. If you're having a sneaky lurk at work and watching me while you're at work, I fully endorse that. If you're slacking off and watching Seano and listening to me, that sounds awesome. Yep, do that instead of work. Good, I highly encourage that. Should we have a quick look at, we talked a little bit about captains. If you didn't have my team, who's the best I think I probably have the 2 best options for captains this week. I don't like Gawn, as he has Wits, and he hasn't performed very well against Wits in the past. We're going to start. We used to say we didn't pay too much attention to that, but I think last week proved that we need to pay a little bit more attention against the matchups. 88, 97 and a 130. So, last 2 years when he's played Wits, he hasn't done that well. So I don't think I would trust him. Sherry's done okay, I believe, but against Hawks he's got 123 and a 144 in the last 2 seasons. So that seems like okay. If you back him to come back, that seems reasonable. I think that could be fine. Also, if you're watching, I put up my link to my Twitter or X there. If you would like to follow me on X, I put up my trades, last minute trades. I put up my score each week, and I will notify people when I go live through X. So what it's called now, Don't know why they called it X. It sounds like a porn site, but yep, that's what it's called now. So you know, they should just call it the Musk site. But yeah, so that's. I don't think there anyone else I read really. I mean, into a couple of the Freo boys. Freo boys play St Kilda though, I believe, which means tag could be coming to one of them, and you don't really know which one. So even though Dacos beat the Windhager tag, doesn't mean that one of the Freo boys won't. So let's have a look. Yeah, Freo versus St Kilda. So if you're choosing either a Sarong after his 2 real big weeks or Brayshaw, and they get tagged out of the game, that could be a little bit of a worry. And the other one, Butters, apparently Shinotta, however you, Snotter, should we call him Snotter? That could be his nickname. It's not very nice, Seano. Is doing a bit of tagging these days. And so maybe Zach Butters, and he hasn't got a great record against Carlton. 98, 98 and 84. I'm not too sure why his record's not that great. But yeah, he doesn't seem to have popped off against Carlton recently, which is interesting. And yeah, that is the Mr. Snotty, whatever we want to call him. Did he tag last week? Did he tag someone last week? Carlton versus North Melbourne? Did he go to LDU or something like that? Played forward tag, roll on Daniel up to half time, then more of a generic half forward flank. So he kind of played a forward tag. So okay. And let's face, Port haven't been in great form lately. And who do they play? They play Carlton this week, is that correct? Port at home versus Carlton. Carlton haven't been great either, so that could be an interesting matchup. If I was tipping, I wouldn't be too sure who to tip. I used to tip every year. You ask, how are you going in the tips, Seano? Well, I kind of give up tipping because every year I forget to tip around and I blow my year's score. So I love my Supercoach, and I usually start a tipping comp every year, but I always forget. I haven't done a proper one for money besides online ones where, you know, you like the West Australian or whatever for quite a long time with work or anything like that. We don't have one at work these days where we used to at my old job. So I don't really pay too much attention to it. It seems very hard. I never seem to do that well in tipping anyway. I always seem to think, yeah, they're definitely going to win, and they never win. Isn't it? I think that's a good thing about our game. I don't know about you guys, but AFL, that even the worst team can have a really good day and still win, you know? Like the Eagles beat St Kilda. Not that St Kilda are flying, but, you know, even a team of basically kids can beat, you know, one of the better teams if they have a day out. I mean, obviously that day out doesn't happen very often, and in general a good team will be able to, you know, put them away. Even if they're behind, they'll be able to come back and, you know, get that win eventually. That's actually the sign of the best team. It's what I remember about the last Eagles premiership for my club, that a lot of games we were behind coming after half time or into the third quarter. We were behind and we managed to come back and win the game. And you know, when your team's doing that they're in really good form and they've got a chance of going all the way. If you can, because, you know, there's always a chance another team gets a run on, gets a few goals. You know, things happen in football. A few free kicks go against you. You know, a few quick entrances down your end of the field, and it's like bang, bang, goal, 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 and next thing you're up, you know, 20, 15, 20, 30 points. If you've got a really good team and you can drag that back over just by playing well, well then, you know, it's going to be a good day for you. Why have we got this little sign up here? Oh, it doesn't matter. So So there's a few people out there. Say g'day if you're out there. What else should we go through while we're waiting for some people to chat to? Seano's all lonely. Nobody wants to chat to him today, but that's all right. We'll hang on for a while. And yeah, if nobody turns up, then we'll jump off and we'll get back on tomorrow. But it's the morning. I understand that people are at work. Unfortunately, with my work, it's the only time I can do the streams. Every second week has to be in the morning due to my shifts. So next week we'll be back to the evenings. We'll do another stream tomorrow morning. If you're around and you want to come and have a chat or have a look at your team, talk about your team, and then next week we'll do our, as usual, we'll try and get the review video out Sunday night after the games, and then the trade time video will come out on either Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday, and then we'll do a Wednesday night and maybe a Thursday night pre-game. I always like the pre-game one. The pre-game one's fun where you're waiting for the game to start. There's a lot of people of us like sitting around waiting, and for you people on the East Coast, that's good timing for you. It's right about that time you get home from work and you relax and put your feet up and have some dinner and time to watch the footy. Trade, should we have a talk about trades? I mean, we did our trade time video. Check that out if you want me to go into super detail, but we can have a little bit of a look. If you're looking to make trades this week, who did we talk about for rookies? Who did we talk about for rookies? Let's just go less than 250k. And we'll go for cash cows as well. Oh, good thing we saw that Campbell Gray is now listed as coming back in 4 to 5 weeks. So if you're like me and you got him sitting on your bench, does it say that there? 18 to 20. So we might actually get a few rounds out of it. 18 to 20, that's even better. I thought it said 4 to 5, but 18's only, 3 weeks away. So it'd be nice to get a little bit of coverage, even though we know that he's probably the direct replacement for Noah Bolter, but he still might actually come out and play. And if Richmond might give him a chance up forward, or they might get an injury and he might get a steady gig, so that would be nice. I'm kind of hoping that might happen. Saad Al-Hululi, I think we deserve an English for that. Some days we get it and some days we don't. It's like hit and miss when we try and say his name. Some days we get it, some days we don't, and when we don't get it, we get one of
Me
these.
fail English? That's impossible.
Why did you take so long?
Me fail English?
That's impossible. So he may be coming back, not this week obviously because he's on the bye, but the week after. That would be great. He gives me that swing with McCarthy. So, I got coverage if one of these dudes goes out. That's why it'd be nice to have a 23rd primo. Not that I could afford one, because then we could have every week you could do a loophole with one of them. But I'm just praying. I don't know about you guys, but we're praying that McCarthy is an 80+ player every week. Just praying, quietly praying to the Supercoach gods that, yep, he is going to be an 80+ player with the occasional 100+ if he gets, like this week versus Collingwood, depending on how straight they kick, but I'm assuming the ball is going to be down his end of the field a lot. So I'm hoping that Collingwood, when they beat us, is going to kick a score of like 20-20 with 20 points, and he's going to have like 15 kick-ins, and so that will make him have a monster score. If we're going to lose, at least give Tom McCarthy a shitload of kick-ins. Don't let them score 20 goals straight. Make it like 20 goals 20 if you're gonna destroy us. So yeah, we talked a little bit about the cash cows. So hopefully he's coming back. Hopefully sooner than later. Callum Mills, if you haven't got Callum Mills, still very affordable. Butler, I think, is a very reasonable option in the forward line, as long as he's named. This Max Ramsden, I don't know very much about him. If it was me, I'd probably picking Butler, but that's just because I recognise the name Butler and he's been in the system for a while. I can't say that I know too much about Max Ramsden. Should we have a look at DFS and see what they say about the Ram? Is that what we're going to call him, the Ram? See how he's done in the VFL. So, he's been in the system for quite some time too. 23, he averaged a 25, average of 25, a 48, and a 60. Is that average? So not great. He's never had huge scores. 33 here. Seems to keep forward pocket. So is that what the well, that doesn't look like a forward. Why do they say? Maybe that's just where he's named on the field, because they do this all the time. They say it's forward pocket, and then you look at the map. That ain't a forward pocket. That looks very wingy to me. That's about as wingy as a chicken gets. And there he's got a few, but looks like he's playing on the wing. Looks like he's more wing. How much time on ground? 81% for a 65 and a 55 playing on the wing. He might be better than Sam Butler if he holds his spot. Whether he holds his spot or not is, I guess, the question. But where's Butler playing? Where's the butt? The butt of everyone's jokes. Where is he playing? Sam Butler. Supercoach is 70 and a 55. Both also good scores. Did he have to get goals? He got 0 goals both times, so that's in way a good sign. He doesn't have to score. Oh no, Sam Butler looks better. He's also playing wing, but he seems to get a lot more of the ball. Let's have a look at your other one. Through the middle too, quite a bit through the middle. No, I'm definitely picking Sam Butler out of the two of them then. I thought he was more of a like a small forward type, but no, he's playing there. As long as he gets named, you know, Hawthorn do have some people coming back, I believe. If we look at the injury, where are we going? Walpole coming back. Sicily coming back. Finn McManus got 30 disposal and 9 clearances, and Cam McKenzie. So you probably figure that Sam Butler has one of their positions, right? He's either got Finn McGuinness or Cam McKenzie. So yeah, probably going to have to keep an eye on whether he is in the best 22. Will Day. Wonder if Will Day's going to be cheap next year. What's the price of Will Day now? If he comes out and plays a few games, if he comes out and smashes a few games into the season, he won't be cheap. He's at 480 now. So if he comes out and they, you know, doesn't play too well, I mean, he got 85, a 77, 103. So if he came out and got a couple of hundreds, maybe we could get Will Day for less than 500 next year. That could be a good thing, right? Could be a good thing. All right, who else were we looking at? So, with a bit of research, we've you know what happens when we do research? We usually play this video. Nerd! It's kind of loud. Yeah, so probably Sam Butler I like best out of the two of those, depending on team sheets. Hey Horse, how you going? Yeah, that's exactly right, Horse. We all hoped that I mean, I got tricked, right? I went on, if you go back and watch my past videos, I went through, I did all the nerd work. I was like, Campbell Gray's a direct swap for Noah Bolter. We shouldn't get him, da-da-da-da. Then all the Richmond supporters came out and they tricked Seano. They were like, no, he'll play forward. And the stupid coach came out and said, oh, I like him as an AFL player. And then dropped him straight away for Noah Bolter. So pretty much screwed us all over. I wasn't going to get him and then we got him. But at least he might actually play a game or two. We might get a game. He might, by some miracle, play a game where we're short a defender. So, and if he plays, if he plays a couple more games, maybe he goes up a bit of money and I do need a downgrade later on the season. So it's not ideal, but I was kind of worried that he might not come back at all because of due to a knee injury, and he was to be confirmed for when he was going to come back right up to yesterday. So at least that's a slight bit of light at the end of the tunnel, Horse. I hope you're doing well, Horse. How's everything going? Horse head in the bed. I guess you're referring to the old Godfather. Yeah, the old naughty boy Bolter. If he can't get home on his push bike after the game, he's not allowed to play. How's your team going, Horse? You got any trade plans this week? You liking your team? You hating your team? Who you going to go for captain? You going to try the old captain on Dacos like me? You think I'm crazy for doing a Dacos? Who else have we got? DeWare, I think I'd stay away from him now. I think Tom McCarthy looks like he's got that position. His kick outs, who knows if he's going to keep those kick outs if McCarthy gets them all. Manny Liddy, this is an interesting one. Is he just playing for Ollie Wines? Is that who he's playing for? While Ollie Wines is out? 34 and 59 doesn't set the world on fire. Doesn't set the world. Probably, what's his face? Roaston or whatever his name is probably better option next week. He's only 99k though, so 99k. You just really got to come out and get, even if he comes out and gets a 40 or a 30, it's probably still fine when it's a 99k. Sam Darcy's still very affordable. I mean, I got him last week, which was good. Is Sydney at the SCG? He's probably not going to have as much room. Probably not going to go crazy at Sydney at the SCG. He's not going to have as much room and a smaller ground to lead up to and stuff, but he's still a big boy. I mean, last week was super impressive, so I'd still back him for getting 100. I don't know about 144 or whatever he got last week, but I still back him to get 100. Caleb Sarong's been killing it the last couple of weeks. Killed me last. I absolutely had a heart attack last week. My league opponent had Sarong, Jackson, and Clark, who all had huge scores. I honestly thought the first game of the round, I thought my team was cooked. And if he had to put the vice captain on Jackson, if he had been watching my videos and did the number one Seano choice for vice captain, which was Luke Jackson, he would have won convincingly against me. But thank God he had a bit of trouble in the few games after that. But that was a good start for him. I was literally cracking the shits in my group chat about how the game was over, how my league match was over after one game. Are there any other options this week? I think they're pretty much your options this week, right, for your trades. And then the week after, you've got a few the week after. Madden, I mean, I think if you had to go for him at the cheaper option because you don't know if Briggs is coming back or not. Darcy and Bo Allen, rookie for Clark. I assume that means you've already got McCarthy if you're getting in Bo Allen. I don't, as an Eagles supporter, I don't trust Manny McWalter at all. I mean, Bo Allen might stay in the team, might get dropped. He said he wasn't going to make him the sub after that week where he brought him on with about 5 minutes to go and then he had a shit run of it. But I guess if you need a back rookie and he's got that dual position status, it's not too bad. for Clark, Johnson. You're trading in Darcy, Bo Allen and a rookie. Oh, so like a Liddy or someone, or a Ralston for next week, something. For Clark, Johnson and Hall or Gray, getting all your... you're trading both your Essendon rookies. I guess you probably need the money. You can have Liddy or Gray or Hall with a mid forward of 99 on your bench for the year. Yeah, that's, I mean, nice. Does that leave you with many trades? Inside the top 2K. Well done, mate. That's nice. I'm hoping that I'm going to drag myself back inside the top 10, and right now I'll be thrilled if I can finish anywhere near probably 5,000 is probably where I need to be thinking that I've got a chance of finishing now, but maybe that's wishful thinking for me. The only thing I worry about those trades, buddy, you're swinging for the fences like I'm swinging for the fences. How's your... you're going to have a reasonable bit of coverage? I guess you'll have Bo Allen. I mean, you still might have a Carroll. Sounds like you probably got a lot of players from this round 16 round. They're for 2 trades. Mills 23rd and McCarthy 24th. That's actually good because I'm running McCarthy at 23rd, so that actually seems pretty good to me. Actually, I'm going to be 2 seconds, guys. I'll be right back. Right back. Don't go anywhere. Right back. Why are you missing me? How about liking the video? I'll be right back.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go.
Sorry about that, crew. Yeah, I'm keeping my 4 trades horse. Sorry to do that to your horse in the mid-conversation. I'm trying to keep my 4 trades now basically until there's 5 rounds to go. I literally don't want to trade for the next 4 weeks minimum, and that's the only way I'm trading is if there's a major injury to one of my superstars, or if we got like an amazing rookie come along. If we had like someone less than 120k that comes out and smashes like 100 and 100, who I think could be like, you know, a valid on-field option in case of injury, I'd probably just grab it, make money and have an on-field option. But I don't think, you know, that way potentially too I could get a 23rd primo like yourself. But you know, I don't. You'd be pretty lucky to have a rookie come out like that. Good luck with the rest of the season, horse. True trades. I really hope we don't see a lot of injuries. I know in last year there was carnage, so hopefully it won't be like last year. This scares me as this is the least amount of trades I've ever had coming out of the buys. Normally, without the flex position in years past, coming into the finals of the league, so round 20, I would always want a minimum of 4 trades coming into round 20. So quite often at this time, I would have anywhere between 6 to 10 trades. Probably around 8 would probably be common for me when we had less trades than we had this year. So I'd come out of the buys with about, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 trades most years, where this year I've got 4. And I remember last year there was absolute carnage, and come the finals, I think I had a 0 in... No, was it this year? Or it might have been the year before. I think last year I might have even had a spare trade when we got to the semi-finals. So I made 2 trades in the... Like, I lost the first match on my finals, and the second match I made 2 trades because I had 2 available, and didn't get the job done. I think I got bundled out of the finals last year. They all go into one, but I know I've had last 2 years in my league has been a bit, not this year, the year before was a disaster. I went from winning, I finished first, and then I didn't even make the finals the year after. And then the year after, I just scraped it into the finals. So I think that's how it's gone the last 3 years. Yeah, that's right, Horse. I'm thinking, just like you, anything less than 3 weeks is a hold. Even 4 weeks is probably a hold. And then when we get to 5 matches out, I can decide what I want to do. And that's making sure that I'm in the top 8. That's why I'm doing my trades this week. I wouldn't be doing these trades this week. Like, I'd only be doing 1 trade this week because I am in a very precarious position in my league. If you have a look, I'm here at 7th on 36 points. So I can't drop out of 7th next week. That's good. Even if the fat boys win, I can, at worst, actually I can. Everyone's on 32. So if I lose and all these guys win, I could drop down as low as 12th. I mean, I do have a better percentage than them, which is good. But if I get stomped by the second place team, which is always a possibility, being that it's Jason, I'm kind of glad that I'm playing Jason during the buys and not during the normal season, because he has a very good team. I do have a good percentage though. The good thing is it's quite higher than the 2 people above me. So if I can win and Matt or Paula lose, I could potentially jump all the way back up to 4th. So that's why I'm doing, with my trades this week, the second trade. I was always going to do McCarthy, always going to get in McCarthy for Clark, just because Clark has the highest break even, so he's going to make the least amount of money. But Butters, I wasn't too sure whether I wanted to get in Butters or not, but in the end I'm like, if I go for it, I got a better chance of winning my league. So that's what I'm thinking for me. But now I'm holding until at least round 5, or unless there's a major injury. That's going to be pretty hard not trading. I love trading. I think I've traded pretty much every week except the first week. And 1 week I did 1 trade, which is also unusual for me, where most of the time like the first week of the buys is a very common one where you don't do any trades, and I think I did 2 or 3 this year. How many players have you got playing this week, Horse? Is your round 16? How's your round 16? Mine doesn't look too bad, to be honest. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Doubt it's going to play. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. So I've got 21 players on the field with 18 primos, being these 1, 2, 3, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 primos. So not bad compared to some teams out there. A lot of people, even though I've said that every week I've had this is almost the worst week that I've got, with 4 primos out in the 1 week, and I've had some pretty rough weeks. So, we're going to touch wood that maybe I can gain up on the community a little bit, with a few people that have McCarthy as a rookie. Yeah, so you're exactly the same as me then. 5 primos out. 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 out, but you've got an extra primo to me. So Yeah, that's so you're still makes it similar with McCarthy in the and McCarthy as a rookie. Yep, getting rid of those Essendon guys. I guess you'll have at least that'll help. You know, you'll have Allen. I guess will play Bo Allen, and Liddy will also, if you're getting Liddy, will also play. Yeah, I think the one that might tempt me, if any tempt me, I think Ralston. Oh no, he's 160 now. If Ralston was still a bargain basement price, the way he's been scoring, he maybe could have tempted me as a sneaky on-field option, but then I might have been a bit scared about who they've got coming back as well. With a 79 and 82 in his last couple of weeks, but then again, you know, maybe. Do you want to give me the name of your team, Horse, and we can put it on screen and have a look? I can check your team out. Have I already done that? Are you in my rivalries already? Who's coming back? Who's coming back for GWS? Oh, Cornelio is coming back, so he may take his spot. Phoenix Gothard, that's an interesting name. Jack Ow. Lockie Whitfield, yeah, we know. Callum Ward is out, so I thought maybe he's taking Callum Ward's position, but maybe he loses his position to Cornelio when Cornelio comes back. So, you know, maybe that's not great. He does looks like a talent for the future, though. A talent for the future? Yeah, talent for the future, that makes sense. Sloppy Joe Lane. I love some of these names. I love you guys and your names. This will be you. Alright, let's have a look-see. Let's have a drool over your team. 1707 ranking, nice, very well done, buddy, very well done. Let's move this over so we can actually see your bench. There we go. Sinclair, Clark, Whitfield, Stewart, Mills, McCarthy with Holmes, so Holmes will be the man there next week. Anderson, Butters, Bont, Dacos, Shearer, Cecil, alright, Cecils.
Me fail English?
That's impossible. Not Cecils, Sheezel. The Cheezels, best snack in the world, best chip snack in the world, bar none. Bont is your captain last week, very nice. Dunkley, Camporelli, which will be Dawson, very nice. You got the cherry Gorn, or your Gorn cherry, whichever way you like to say it. Smith, Petrarca, McRae, Horn, Francis, Warner, Rankining. Yeah, it looks very nice team. I think I have to admit maybe it's just the forward lines, but the teams look. I was looking at my team thinking they're pretty cookie cutter teams this year, like probably with these new flex position, the more trades, it's going to be more like this over the next year. Primo, 7 defence, 7 forwards, 7 mids and 2 rucks. It'd be nice if you had 7 in each line. That'd be awesome. I think, you know what, I think that's possible in years to come with the amount of trades we've got. If we just have some rookies cash up, I think you could possibly can have at least a couple lines. You will be able to have a full Primo on the bench, just like, and using as like a loophole option. I think in next year and the years to come, that's going to be a thing that you're going to have to really pay attention to. I think if we get a year where we're not screwed over by the third game curse of the rookie, you know, and our rookies don't, you know, this year you're lucky to have a rookie make 100 grand. In years past, we've had rookies, almost all your rookies make you 200k. You know, they start at 120 and then you sell them at like 300 or 320, or they make like 200k to 250k for a good one, or maybe even 300k on a good one. We haven't had too many have made us that amount of money this year. So if it's a good rookie year next year, I could quite see, you know, having your team, you're having your Dawson here, but then having another absolute gun in the midfield here, and just like looping it with the early game. Whoever the early game is, you put them there and you loop it and see how you go. I really think that's going to be a strategy for years coming. It's just not most people this year. We just haven't had the money. I looked at my team's value, which was 13.2 million-ish. 13.2 million, and some of the best teams, the better teams, are more like closer to 14 million. They're 13.9 million, so 1 full primo better, a bit like your team, off 1 full primo better than mine. But I do like your team, buddy. I like your team. You have got a pod or two. I mean, Anderson's a bit of a pod, which is nice. Not a lot of people are going to have Stewart anymore, right? Everyone's going to trade him out, 6% of teams, so if he goes off, you've got a bit of a pod there. Clark is still not super highly owned, I don't believe. 13%, that's still reasonable. So you can definitely gain some spots. A lot of people sold McRae, like me, so he's down to 36%. He was at 70% at one stage. What about Horn Francis? 24%, so they were super highly owned players that now are slightly pods. Holmes is one that I really regret missing. Could have picked up Holmes for 500 and 5,000, I think it was, at some stage. Really regret missing this. Let's see how cheap. He got down to 496 at one stage, and now he's at 623. Like, imagine him picking him up at this 496, 498, even like 502. Even if you waited till he had these he had a 94, 134. If you had to grab him there for 498, I'd be laughing my ass off. But I didn't do that. I think I actually, instead of doing that, I paid up for Whitfield at 590. So this is one of the reasons that Seano doesn't have 23 primos, because and I'm going to learn my lesson. We've written it down. We've learned our lesson. Next year, I don't give a shit how good you are, unless your name is Bont, Butters, Sherry or Gawn, and maybe Luke Jackson, especially if Darcy's not there. If you're over 560k, you don't get a spot on my team, because I know that you'll pick up, no matter how good they are, you're going to pick them up. Every single one of these defenders, these primo defenders, has gone up and come back down. You know, Sinclair's been around 500k, George Clark's been around 500k, Whitfield's been around 500k. Well, he's there now. He's going to be less than 500k. Tom Stewart got down to 450. You know, we picked Callum Mills up for 350 and he's killing it so far. Butters got down to, you know, this is what I'm saying. If Butters is, maybe you pay up for Butters at 600 or Bont at 600, and that's going to be your captain choices, or do the set and forget in the rucks. If there's, I didn't mind this year going like I went Gawn and Tagoning, and a lot of people went Sherry and Tagoning. If there's a cheap value ruck that allows you jump up to the Gawn, you know, make some money, which could have been the case for me if I had a swapped TDK for Sherry and made 15k when Sherry went down to 550, right? So you don't particularly need, you know, both of them, but as long as you got like some captain options. So if you had Butters, Bont and one of the big rucks, or both the rucks and one of Butters or Bont, then you're probably going to be alright next year. And the same, hopefully, I don't think we're going to be as lucky for options next year in the forward line as we were this year. Bailey Smith is certainly not going to get dual position. Petrarca's not going to be dual position. McRae's not going to be dual position. Horn Francis is probably not going to be dual position next year, and Warner's probably not going to be dual position. Rank, you might get Rank as dual position, but he's going to be the only one. So the forward line could be a really tricky next year. It was actually remarkably easy this year, the forward line, but next year I think the forward line could be really tricky, and I got a feeling a lot of us are just going to be starting Sam Darcy, depending on how much he is. But like I said, all these players came down to, like, Bailey Smith's the only one, right? Bailey Smith has just gone, started off cheap and has gone all the way up. Petrarca's probably cheaper than when he started. He's probably cheaper. Started at 550, so he's still 40k. Got down as low as 480. You could have picked him up. I think we picked him up around there. McRae's under 500. I think this is probably the first time. You know, he got down as low as 470. So he started cheap. That's why we all got him cheap at the start. So started at 400. What a bargain that was. Got up as high as 570. So hopefully we've learnt our lesson, crew. Seano's a bit dumb, and sometimes it takes him a while to learn his lessons. But yeah, I'm thinking that no player who's not your captain option is worth paying more than about 580 for. Unless you're guaranteeing yourself a captain option. Yeah, I'll be going like, you know, I'll be choosing like Sarah again. Maybe like Sarah goes down to 530 or something. I'll be like, okay, that's a bargain. I'm getting on that. You know, Dunkley's around 500, even though we know he's been a bit up and down. And he came back this week and repaid his owners. If Dunkley's like 500 beginning next year, I'll be getting Dunkley. I think it's hard to tell, but you'll know 1 week. You'll know by the end of round 17. The buys are tricky because you never know who's got what and what the teams above you. Like there could be a shit ton of teams above you that have a lot more guys out than you. Like I'm looking at a lot of these other content creators streams, and they have a lot of people out this round, and some of them are struggling just to get, you know, 18 players on the field. Like people like you and me have got, you know, I've got 21 or whatever with rookies on the field and 18 primos. A lot of these guys might have 16 or 15 primos and just scraping to 18 players with rookies. So I think it's hard to tell now, but once you come out and you play one round and you see how much you jump that round, that should give you a pretty good idea. But I'm thinking you looks like you've got a very solid team. You've got a few pods to gain, a few of the better pods. I think Noah Anderson is one of the better pods. I think Tom Stewart will be fine if he doesn't get injured. I think Clark can go boom on a good day. So I think I don't think you'll go down. I think you'll be closer to the 1,000 mark. I think you have potential to finish inside the top 1,000. You know, I think you could potentially finish inside the top 1,000. If I was you, that's what I'd be aiming at. Or, I mean, I'd be happy with your rank at the end of the season that you are now, but I'd be aiming, you know, in my mind, I'd be like, I hope to finish inside the top 1,000. Me, I'm thinking that at 10,000 now, after a brutal lot of buy rounds, which are being hard to me, and without a 23rd primo, I'm hoping for top 5,000. I think I could gain some spots this week, and I'm thinking I'm going to need some good captain scores. I might even have to go against the pack when it goes to captains. So, you know, if everyone's picking the Bont as a captain, I might have to go against the pack and try somebody else just to try and gain spots, because the captain score makes a massive difference. And I think that you need to really... We talked about at the beginning of this video that one of the reasons I got to top 2,000 or I was at 2,500 or something, was my highest rank this year, is because of my good captain picks, because I had Gawn and I was picking Gawn as my captain and he was killing it. So it's going to depend, especially with how similar teams are this year. They'll be more similar than they have in any other year, I think. So, I mean, if you just look at your and my team, we have the exact same back line, you and me. No difference at all. Sinclair, Dale, Wanganeen, Zorko, Whitfield and Mills. That's my back line, exactly the same. In the midfield, we both have Bont, we both have Brayshaw, we have Dacos. Oh, this is me. That's why it looks the same. So we are a little bit different. You have Clark and Stewart, and I've got Zorko. So you're a bit different to me there, and you've got Holmes. So you're different in the back line. We've got 1, 2, 3, for the same. So actually, yours and my team's a little bit different. Probably shows why your team's better than mine. And two in the forward. Yours is more like what I want my team to look like. What I hope, like, not. I wish I hadn't traded Horn, Francis, and McRae. I still had them in the team. I wish I had got Holmes. So if I had done everything right, my team would look more like yours, which I assume a lot of the higher teams up look a lot more like yours. So unfortunately, that's going to make it a little bit hard for you to go once we come out of the buys to, go drag your way up. But it's going to come down a lot to captain choices. And that's why next year, having these extra primo, so say your full primo, you had a full primo here, just say you've got, whoever we can say this is Hewitt here. And next year you're going to have Dawson here, and if Hewitt Dawson plays on Thursday night, you'll have Dawson here. If he does really well, you'll take off your least averaging, midfielder. And then have a go that way. And I think if everything goes to plan next year and we get rookies that actually cash out like we have on most previous years, you're going to have almost a loophole action every year. And that means you're going to have the other way it's going to help us out is because you'll be able to have Dawson here, but you'll be able to have a 99k player here who's not playing instead of a Clay Hall. You potentially can have a 99 player here and a 99 player here, which is going to make you have even more cash with a primo and a primo on reserve. And even same here, like a 99k and a 99k and a primo. And it's not going to matter whether they're playing or not, and when it comes to the pointy end of the season. So you're going to be able to just go, chuck them on wherever you want. And if you've got a 99k and a playing mid forward, actually that's what you really want. You want a 99k non-playing, unless you've got one in every field. If you can afford to have a primo in every line, then it doesn't matter whether they're playing or not. But say you can only afford, you have a primo here, 6 and another 7th primo, a 9th primo here, and you've just got the standard crap forward line, because I really think forward line's going to be pretty crap next year. You're going to have to pick key forwards and stuff next year. Can you think of anybody who's going to be a mid forward next year who you really want? My worst trade, probably I got in Toby Green, and then he got concussed, and he was a mid-pricer, and even though he got a Cleary score of 7 off my field, it cost me 2 trades. So I'd say at that point of the season, I wasted 2 trades doing that. I could have just gone down to a rookie, instead of the Cleary down to a rookie, took a slightly less score and had a rookie on the field for a week or two. I was too anxious to get a rookie off the field or upgrade where I forced it. I think that's probably my worst trade. I know my worst misses. A lot of my worst misses were rookies too. I missed Max Hall. I traded out Sam Powell-Pepper. I missed Sandy Brock. With a year where rookies were so few and far between, to get those couple, which would have made quite a bit of money. I missed Sheldrick. So there's probably 4 rookies that are the difference between my team being 13.2 million worth up to almost 14 million worth. So I think that little mid-pricer trade at that point of the season was a mistake. Besides that, I'm reasonably happy. Let's have a look at this. Can we do the history? The history of Seano. Trade history. I don't know, it's hard for me to show this to you guys without me doing this. Can you see it there? Let's have a quick look. So go down to round, didn't trade in round 1, so that was good. Shouldn't trade on round 1 unless it's for injuries or whatever. We got rid of Flynn because he got dropped straight away. O'Sullivan and Powell Pepper. So that's a bad trade there when I got rid of Powell Pepper after he scored that 9 or something. If only he had scored a 50. Oh, that reminds me. I used a boost to get in Gross, and then Gross was the sub. He played at half forward and was the sub. After he was named in the centre, fucking Minnie McWalter named him in the centre and then played him as like a forward pocket, which is definitely not his position. I was thinking in my brain, I waited till the teams came out and then I used a boost to get him in, and then he played in the forward pocket, scored like a 9, got subbed out and has never played again. That's definitely my worst trade of the year, but I blame Minnie McWalter, not me. It's me. As an Eagles supporter, that's all Minnie McWalter's fault. So my first lot of trades, I got Warner, Levi Ashcroft and Lindsay. They're all really good trades. Warner is not the core. That's Corey Warner, the rookie. So I got in 3 playing rookies. They all played for me. Lindsay and Ashcroft were 2 of the better rookies this season. And Warner, well, he held up a bench spot. He played on the field for me a few times, and he made a little bit of money. So nothing there. Round 3, had to get rid of Short, Perryman and Sardis. I didn't keep Sardis, which was good. A lot of people have Sardis sitting on their bench forever. We got in Dale, Sinclair. Sinclair at 590 was too much. We shouldn't have gone. We could have got someone else cheaper. I think Jordan Clark or whatever was only about 510,000 at this stage. So that was a bad trade. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not doing that next year. Next year, I'm just not doing that. I don't care how good a player you are. Unless you're a captain option, I'm not paying 590 for you. We're going to go value and then pick up these guys when they drop down. Henderson, he was fine, 99, got dual position status. Didn't make very much money, but helped me out a little bit. Round 4, we got rid of Horn Francis. That was a mistake. Should have kept him. I got in Marrick and Smith though, so I like the players I got in. I needed both of these players, but I kind of wish I had got rid of Callahan, even though Callahan went up and made money. So I had to get Smith was probably my biggest miss at the beginning of the year. That was, if I didn't have to get in Smith, maybe I could have held Horn Francis. So that wasn't great. Then we got rid of Rosie. That wasn't great. Right before he got that back roll after being tagged a couple of weeks. And O'Driscoll, who got injured. O'Driscoll was one of my better preseason picks. Did very well. Still, if we talk about that for just a few seconds as well, I think going the slightly higher rookies was fine this year. That actually, next year I'm gonna do that instead of getting these Perrymans and Shorts. They can piss off, and we're going to get the 200k rookies. And if the 200k rookie fails, we'll go down to the 100k rookie, the 120k rookie. And because like we did with, we tried O'Sullivan, he failed, and we went down to Ashcroft or a Lindsay. So I'm going to be much more happy doing that than getting a 400k Short or Perryman that fails. Rosie to Bice, Bice was brilliant. O'Driscoll to Whitfield, we paid 607k for Whitfield. People are going to get him for 480 now. This is what I'm talking about. Another big mistake. That's another 100k. So that's 2 lots of, that's 190k extra I would have had if I hadn't made the Whitfield and I hadn't made the Sinclair trade. Callahan, I sold him out. If I had kept him, he would have made me 100k. Like, what's he worth now? He's worth 500. He's almost 150k, 130k. We got in Dacos and Cleary, so out Davison. Davison was good, made us money. We probably could have kept Davison for a few more weeks, but he made good money. He's at 300,000 now. We sold him for 293, so didn't make too much more in him. We'll go through. That's an interesting question. So never seemed to get a decent go at Geelong. Looked like he was going to be good. And Stone. So there's 2 rookies out to get Carroll, and we needed Flynn for the cash gen, which was fine. Then we dropped Oliver, who just sat at that same price all year, and we got in Petrarca, which was fair trade. Sold out Flynn, so we made 120k on Flynn, which was fine. Sold out Bice, we made good money on Bice. Sold out Reed, made good money on Reed. Unfortunately, Reed got that injury, otherwise that would have been another 50 to 100k. Could even been a keeper, Reed, who knows. Got in Huswaite, disaster. Got in Chad Warner, who I guess has been okay. And we got in Marshall, who did his job. He made me some money for a few weeks. I mean, he got up to about 550 when I sold him, so I made about 70k, and I had a couple of good scores. I got on and off him at the right time. We got rid of De Koning, Warner, and Patton. We should have got rid of De Koning a few weeks before when Cherry was like 540. See, instead we could have got De Koning. Cherry was at 540 at one stage, and De Koning was like at 565 or something. Could have made 15k. Instead of we paid 130k, so that was a mistake. We got rid of the other Warner. We got in Simpson, who got injured straight away. And we got rid of Patton, who was okay as a dual position player. And then got in Sard, who hasn't really worked out. But hopefully he'll come back and give some cover at the end of the season. Out Henderson, made a 66k. In Bont. McRae, Hewitt and Henderson got me Gross, Sims and Bont. So Gross, this is the bad trade. This is the bad trade where we got in Gross, where we didn't have to get in Gross. So that was a bad trade. That's the worst trade I made for sure. Out Reed, Trainer Cleary, in Rao, Green and Gray. So that's it. So that's another one. I didn't have to boost again. I boosted this week. I didn't have to boost. I could have saved a boost. I didn't have to boost. I didn't have to get Green. I could have got a rookie here. Paid $350 for him. He basically got injured straight away, and I sold him for less, slightly less than that, I think, which was a bit disappointing. Gray also, I didn't need to make this Gray trade either. That's the one where he played for 1 week and then Bolt to come back. I told everybody else not to pick him, and then I picked him. Cadwell and Clark, very good trades. Marek had made his money. Huswaite, that was a fail. Out Marshall, Green and Lindsay. So you got Green in this week, and 2 weeks later I get him out again for 1,000 or less, about $600 less. Got in Doherty, Johnson and Wangan and Malera. This is a very good trade week here. Doherty and Wangan and Malera. I'd have learnt my lesson by here to go cheap and get Wangan and Malera, but not go so cheap and get McKercher, and it paid off. Out Ashcroft and Kako for Darcy and Mills, almost the best trading round of my week, that of the year. And Roberts and McCarthy for Clark and Butters. So that's this week. How many players does Seano have that he started with? Good question. Zorko. So 1 in the back line. Brayshaw I started. Sheasel I started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe only 5 players, Horse. Wow. Out of Primos, maybe only 5 Primos that I started with in my team that I still have. Wow. That just shows my starting team was a bit shit. It's not really. We didn't have the options, right? Bontempelli and Butters, they probably would have been in the team at the beginning if they weren't injured. I had them all pre-season, then they didn't come out and play, so they would have been in the team. I was always going to go Sherry, Gorn or Sherry and TDK with how he was performing pre-season. And he was cheaper than those guys. We couldn't go Darcy because he wasn't. We could have gone Darcy, but we didn't. Bailey Smith is one that really should have been in the team at the beginning of the season. Petrarca, we could potentially have had him in the team at the beginning of the season. I don't know. Rankinine, do we still want Rankinine in the season? What about you, Horse? How many of you still got that you had at the beginning? Round 4 boost out Moraes, then round 6 I'll boost in Moraes, then out Moraes, in Gross, killed the cash gen, yeah. Leak, you still got Leak, Boyd, Campo from the start to finish. I don't count rookies. I've had Boyd, maybe only Boyd in the rookies. I do like to move on the rookies that aren't making money. I'm more I'm more grumpy with myself about the mid prices than I am the rookies. You know, we didn't know Camporelli wasn't going to play. When he doesn't play, I think I moved him on for, I mean, was it like a 99, like maybe Henderson or somebody. So I like to get those non-playing rookies off. The only problem is the ones that we brought in this year didn't make us any money. So that's why we really hope that, you know, the ones like Leak, Boyd and Campo. I mean, Boyd played those 2 games and then never played again. I mean, the only way he's getting a game is if Marshall gets injured. He played 1 game, so he's not going to have to play 2 games to even go up any money. 8 primo, so you better. That's why your team is obviously probably in a better position than mine. That I've only had 5. I had to trade in 5 primos where you had 8 to start. I mean, if I could go back in time, I would have picked Clark, because I remember I believe Clark started off at a fairly reasonable price. At the beginning of the season, Clark was, $5.60, so he's not exactly super cheap, but you could have got him as $5.13, so maybe he wouldn't have been a starting pick. The question is, I guess the question is who would have. I mean, Zorko, obviously, I wouldn't have wanted to get Zorko. I paid up $600k for him. I mean, I paid $600k and it looked like he was going to deliver. He got a 139, a 136, and a 135. So, but then after that, he had a rough run from round 4 through to 8, where he only got a 100, and then he got 166, and now he's sort of come back into a little bit of form. Since around 11, he's only had 1 real low score, and then 80 being the next low and a few decent hundreds. So, I mean, these are the players that, in some ways, I want my team to do well, but I don't want them to do too well, because next year, if I could pick up a Zorko for 500k at the beginning of next year, awesome. You know, if I could pick up a Whitfield for 500k at the beginning of next year, awesome. You know. Yeah, Horse, that's what I wish I had done. I plummeted in the buy rounds, and so I might as well held those 2, right? It didn't really matter what. I already plummeted 7,500 spots. If I had kept those 2 and plummeted 8,500 spots, what difference would have it made? And I would have had more trades up my sleeve and everything. So, and plus I would have had, I'm looking at my forward line. I'm like, I'd much prefer to be seeing like Horn Francis instead of Rankin. If this said Horn Francis and McRae instead of Warner and Rankin, well, I'd like to look at that a lot better, to be honest. Yeah, so moving up in the buys is really, really good. And with a team like yours, that's why I think you'll go on and move ahead too now. You didn't move up because you got lucky. A lot of people move up in the buys just because they get lucky and they happen to have, players in the rounds. Like, I was really unlucky in my leagues in the buys. Every time I went up against a team, it just seemed to be the one week that they had, most of their players playing, where I still had a good team, but that's, and if I had played them in any other week, but that week during the buys, I probably would have beat them. But the one week they play me is the week that, if it was this week, even though it's okay this week, but, if it's this week, I've got, I would have Smith and Holmes and Dunkley and, half the bloody world of all the buys, and they've got, like, they don't have, they're in the bottom of my league because they don't have any of these good players, but, those, and then they just beat you because you have so many of your primos out. So it's good that you've got through. Where are you at in your league? What position are you in your league, Horse? What was Noah Anderson at the beginning of the season? 574. So that seems to be the number. It might have to be, if you want a super primo, they might have to be under 580. We all know Cheryl was about 450. It's a good pick. And in the end, even Finn Callahan, I could have kept Finn Callahan. Cheryl. I wish I had picked him. I didn't pick him, but he's been so good and non-injured and so reliable. I mean, the problem with me, I went Callahan. He looked like he was going to be better, but he's got injured. Well, a dunk at the beginning of the season was quite expensive, right? 600k, yeah. So I think 580 might be the number. You know, if maybe instead of paying 600k for some of these dudes, and maybe the midfielders this year though, I have to admit, at the beginning of the year, the defenders were outperforming the midfielders, and that's why we went there. But next year, I believe like the Bont and the Butters are going to come out and strut. Like if we look, the evened out after it came like now Sinclair's only 111. So out of all your defenders, I think probably Holmes is probably the best, right? Average. Averaging average score 111. So even he is not as good as the your Anderson, your Butters, and your Bont are all outperforming him, and Dacos is pretty close as well. So it kind of worked out at the end of the year how it has every year. Like I was like, oh, all the midfielders are getting tagged. I'm going to get all defenders, which was what we did, and it kind of paid off for a little while. But come the end of the season, it's biting me in the backside. Slim's Garrison, second and ranked 249 overall. Very nice Slims. I think the highest ranked dude in my league is Dave with West Coast Falcons, and he is at 1500th. But there's a lot of us between. So I'm third in points, but so we're all, you know, front square. He's having a good season. 6,000, 7,000. Lot of my, we're all between, well, 1,000 and 15 to 20,000. I think mostly in my league. We're all no one's having. Only Dave is really having a really good year. I think most of the rest of us are not struggling a little bit compared to how we usually do. Usually have quite a few of us in the top 5,000, I would say. 11 game winning streak's alright though. Can't complain about that. Can't complain about the old 11. Let's have a look. I'm sure your friend won't mind if we put his team up on stream, will he? Just add. Let's see what a team like that looks like. Oh, he's online now. He's online doing his team now, trying to get it good. So he's got a Holmes, Clark, Rosie, Whitfield, Bowie. Nice. He's got a Bowie. Had a pretty good season, right? Last few weeks have been a bit rough for him with Bowie. Richards, Brayshaw, Butters, Bont, Sinclair, Dacos, Sarah, Merritt, Smith, Petrarca, Daniel Alvarez, Keeler. I mean, with Tom DeConey there. I mean, it's honestly, Horse, I don't know about you. I look at his team and it doesn't look any better than your team. You know, he doesn't have a, you know, it doesn't look any better than my team either. Just giving the eye test, I bet he's had some really good captain choices, because I'm looking at his team and I'm seeing your team seems more complete than his team, to be honest, Horse. If you showed me, if you didn't tell me his rank and just showed me a picture of his team and a picture of your team, I would take your team. He's got a rookie on the field here. He's got a rookie on the field here, and he's got a mid-pricer. who has 8 primos. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying. I think teams like yours and mine, with a decent captain choice, if we could hit the captain choice this week, buddy, I think this is a chance for us to gain quite a lot of spots. So I wouldn't be surprised if you could jump into the top 1,000 this week with a good score and a good captain result. I wouldn't even be surprised if you leap a lot, like straight into the top 1,000 this week. There are going to be a lot of people, I think, in those top 5,000 spots that get punished this week and just get, they're going to have to, basically, if they have a bad captain choice, they're going to get really hurt. Dacos into Dawson. Seems reasonable. Seems very reasonable. Both good matchups. Yep, I like it. Yep. I've always been talking about form and how I prefer the form to the matchups, but I think thinking that way punished me last week, so maybe I've changed my thinking a little bit, and now I am going to be looking a little bit more at the matchups. When I looked at, when I was looking before, I was pretty much just looking for the tag and the stadium. I was like, like this week with Bont, I'm like, maybe he gets tagged, but it didn't really stop him the 2 times before. So, James Jordan might not even be in the team these years, but this week, there is no way Bont is not being either my vice captain for this week. There's no way. There's no way I'm not making Bont the vice captain unless for some reason he's injured and not playing. With against North Melbourne with a 123, a 157 and a 169 the last few rounds, and a Thursday night game. I think if you fade the Bontempelli vice captain that week, anyone who does that is a crazy man. Would be a crazy human. Do we have a I would say that their idea of playing Supercoach is a bit like this.
When I'm in command, every mission's a suicide mission. When I'm in command, every mission's a suicide mission.
Yep, which I kind of feel that's how it's been with my team a lot of weeks, being a suicide mission. So I like your pick, and a lot of people like me don't have Dawson. Dawson was a good pick. Dawson's been a very good pick for you, buddy, and he's been a very good scorer. He's been a very, very good scorer. Oh, I'm like, where is he? But yeah, that's because it's yeah, it's been after those few, the 76. You could have got him at 500k too. I mean, imagine picking up Dawson here at 500k, and then he's gone 156, 78, 132, 138, 112, 108, 108. This just confirms with me, you don't have to, next year you get a couple of big dogs for being captain, like Butters, Bont, Sherry and Gawn. Say there's no value ruck option next year. No value ruck option. You just go the 2 big boys, Butters and Bont, and everybody else is 550, or less. They're either a rookie. There's no one, you're not paying 580, 590, 600 for someone. Maybe if it's a Dacos and he's 559, you go, okay, I'll pay the extra 9k. But you're not paying 590s for the Whitfields or the Sinclairs or the Dawsons, because you know that you'll pick up someone like a Dawson for 500k at some point. It might hurt you at the beginning, but come the end of the season when you've got 7 primos in, almost you've got an extra primo in every line, and maybe even it might be a year where you can afford to have a mid-price of ruck. So your rucks might be Sherry, Gawn, and have like a 450k ruck of Wits here or something, in case one to try a loophole. If you've got like a, maybe you've got like a ruck, non-playing ruck forward, which could be very handy for loopholing, and maybe that's the way to go. You could have an extra gun ruck. Imagine having not in your flex, having decent flex, but having a gun ruck here as well. Imagine having Sherry, Gorn, and TDK or someone here, you know, who you pay. They went down to 500k and you picked them up for 500k. Like, how much was Grundy? How much was Grundy? How low did Grundy get? Started Dawson at 550, and that's awesome. So that's what I'm saying. You picked him up for 550. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. You know, yes, he went down to 500, but he still lasted at 550. If you had said you paid 590 for him or whatever, you might be a little bit disappointed. So Grundy got as low as 500k as well, and that's when he started to go on fire. So you could have picked him up at 500k. Now he's worth 160k extra. So, you know, next year, I think it's going to be if the rookies give us the cash that we're used to in past years, there's going to be a lot of different strategy next year. I think there's going to be, you're going to have different strategy, because I got a feeling even the teams are going to be even more cookie cutter than what they are this year. I mean, the teams are bad enough being cookie cutter this year. I think next year it's going to be with the, you know, with the proper cash generation, the teams are going to be even more cookie cutter, and you're going to have to rely on your loopholes and captain choices to really, you know, really push you up the rankings. I'm looking forward to next year a lot already. I know we're still only basically halfway through this year, but I am looking forward to next year a lot. I'm hoping that I learnt my mistakes. Have I still got my mistakes thing here? Supercoach plan. Is this the plan for next year? Guns and rookies. No more than one mid-pricer in each line. 2 gun rucks. I can put here unless there's a unless there's a proper value option. No more than one 550k player in each line, and you hold primos and do no sideways. They're the notes we did at the mid-season review that we did. The video we put out, mid-season review, if you want to have a look at that. Yeah, and I could probably even add to that, hold your rookies if you can. Hold your rookies for a little bit longer. Do Melbourne trade Oliver? I guess the question is, can Melbourne get anyone better than Oliver? Is he affecting team morale with, you know, obviously it said he's having personal issues. So if that's just personal issues and, you know, it's not like stuff that he has to sort out between him off the field. It's not him, you know, pissing off the other players, you know, by acting like a knob or anything like that, which I don't really know what's going on with him. But if he's having, you know, just personal issues, all the best to him. This is what I think about with the Eagles. People are like, oh yeah, like, Harley Reid's a bad example for the Eagles, but say Oscar Allen, right? People are like, you should get rid of Oscar Allen. I'm like, but who the fuck are we going to get that's anywhere near as good who's going to come over? The answer is no one. And the thing, I'm thinking the same with Melbourne. Melbourne, who are they going to get who could potentially be as good as Oliver? No one. Oliver has got potential to be one of the best players in the league if he can get his head right, if he can get his training right. I mean, he might never be the same. He might never be the Oliver we know of the past. I mean, I guess for Melbourne, they would know internally whether they think he's ever going to be that Oliver again. But if there's any chance he can be that Oliver again, they probably shouldn't trade him, because they're not going to get anything close to that. You know, it's like And the one I hate over here, like I'm the kind of the opposite here, where I'm like, get rid of Harley Reid. As an Eagles player, he's got a lot of skill, but for my liking, he's too much of a whinger. And he pushed for free kicks and stuff. And instead of this year, he hasn't been anywhere near as hard as the ball what he was last year. It's like he just thinks that now that, oh well, I'm good, I can get paid lots, I don't have to try as hard or go as hard. Where, you know, so I kind of wish we had got McKercher instead of Harley Reid, to be honest. And now when we get rid of him, people are like, oh, but you're gonna get a lot. I'm like, what are we gonna get? We'll get a few draft picks that might not turn out, you know. So we might as well have got the best Western Australian that year and got to keep him, you know. That's why WA is a bit different. I think we always need, I don't know where you're from, Horse, but every time we pick a Victorian player with our top pick, I crack the shits, because they just go home 70-80% of the time, you know. Harley Reid is gone for sure. Why wouldn't he go? His girlfriend plays for the, you know, the WAFL over there. All his family's over there. He's going to get $2 million, you know, to play over there, hang out with all his mates, spend all his millions of bucks down the pub with all his mates. He's gone for sure. If he doesn't go this year, he'll go the year after, 100%. So, you know, he's lost that quick. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's still, who can you get that's better? If they can get some super young kid from another club, like if they can do some deal where they get, say, Ralston from GWS looks like he's going to be brilliant and really good. Say you go Oliver to GWS and you get Ralston in change, a young kid who's 18 and looks really good, and you know, looks like he could really perform. Fine. Yeah, I mean, he might stay this season just because of how much teams are going to have to pay up for it, but he's going to go next season for sure. It's just, there's just no way he stays, and that makes me think, why did we get him in the first place? I know we don't like to talk about the Eagles very much because of my club, but Eagles need to do what Freo have done, and Freo took a long time to learn their lesson. Freo used to get in a Victorian player when they weren't doing that well, and the Victorian player would leave for someone who's a top 8 contender every single year. They would get them in and they would leave. They would get, same as Gold Coast. Unfortunately, Gold Coast are screwed because hardly any players come from Gold Coast. But at least we have a chance here in West Australia that we're a football state and we produce a lot of good AFL footballers. Maybe for our population, I mean, it's probably cheeky to say, but maybe the best footballers in the country. If you compare the amount of players playing from WA in the AFL compared to our population, I'm sure it's a very high number. So surely our best option is always to pick the WA player, and hopefully that means when that player gets to 23 or 24 years old, just like Freo have now, not that they're all WA players, but they have a full midfield of 24-year-old guns. You know, their whole team, they have one of the younger teams in the league, and they're all about the same age. They've all been playing with each other for like 3 or 4 years, and it makes a very good team. That's what we need to do. Stop picking Victorian players in our high draft picks. This year, if we've got number 1, don't take him if he's from Victoria or Adelaide something. Take the number, or trade that number 1 pick. This is what we should have done with Harley Reid. Trade the number 1 pick, got hopefully number 2 pick and someone else in the top 10, and pick the two top WA players. Long-term big money contracts. And Brian, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to find out Harley Reid does that. He's like, the first year he played for us, the skills are there. He's got magnificent skills. Like, you know, he can go forward and kick goals. But his attitude sucks balls. His attitude is, you know, he's got way too big an ego. You know, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of people. You might think I'm a content creator and I have a big ego, but I hate fucking people with huge egos who think they're hot shit. I'll always take someone like a Nick Nat. Nick Nat was fucking hot shit, but he never acted like it, not once ever. And he still doesn't act like it now, even though he's like a goddamn god over here. If you see Nick Nat walk down the street, you want to get down and fucking bow to him. Now, but he doesn't act like it. He'll walk up to any person on the street and have a chat to him. And, you know, I used to work in, like, 5-star hotels, and I used to see it all the time. We had all the, used to meet a lot of celebrities, and, you know, especially my heroes. I used to work at one of the hotels where all the cricket players from around the world stayed, and I used to work at one of the hotels where all the football players used to come over and stay at. Like, they have contracts with those hotels, so every time when I was at one of the hotels, every time a visiting football team came over, they used to play, and I used to be there, and you would just see the difference. You know, some of them are just like, so, you know, got so much time for you, such incredibly decent human beings, and some people are just fucking, you know, arrogant pieces of shit. And it doesn't matter how good they are at their sport, they're still an arrogant piece of shit. I'm not going to name names. I could name names of a few who I think are like that, but I got a feeling that Harley Reid's going to end up being, you know, a bit like that. He plays for free kicks. He fucking, you know, he whinges and bitches and moans when he doesn't get them or he gets a little bit of attention. You know, he's in the papers every week over here, making him think, giving him a big head. I think I'm not going to be unhappy when he goes. I'm sure he's going to play the Eagles in a few years for a North Melbourne or Essendon or someone, and they'll carve us up. But, you know, I'm not going to be unhappy to see him go. Let's be honest. Yeah. Pick 1 and 2. That's if there's not a million fucking father son or whatever picks and other bullshit academy of picks beforehand. But yep, picks 1 and 2 would be awesome. This year is the year to have them, because after that Tasmania comes in, you ain't going to be getting any decent picks. And if Eagles are still finishing last the year after, which is quite possible, we're kind of going to be effed for a few years with Tasmania coming in. But, you know, 1 and 2 picks, pick the 2 best West Australians in the league. Whoever the 2 best West Australians are in the draft this year, you pick them. Screw everybody else. Just pick the 2 best WA players. And hopefully one of those guys is a ruck. If you can trade to get a really good ruck, a WA ruck who's going to stay back here, then do that, because we desperately need a ruck. Yeah, see, that's the Gold Coast rare. I always feel sorry for Gold Coast, and I feel sorry for any Gold Coast supporters when I say Gold Coast should never be in the AFL ever. In the AFL, it's one of the dumbest things they've ever done. They brought in a club that was never going to make money, is probably never going to win a premiership without a lot of luck. That's going to be extremely hard for them to keep players always, even if they have a finals. At least if the Eagles or Freo, like Freo now have a good chance of attracting decent players from Eastern States, because they got a team that can win finals, a team that can win premierships. Eagles, we can't attract anyone. Who the fuck wants to come to the Eagles at the moment? You want to win finals and play, premierships, you're not coming to the Eagles. So, and Gold Coast is the same. Gold Coast, this is their best year they've had maybe ever. And, they better, if they want anyone to come to them, they have to pretty much make the finals. And they pretty much have to do it the next couple of years. And you want to really make them see them make a grand final to attract any players. Otherwise, every Victorian or South Australian player that goes there, or even WA player, is going to turn around and go home as well. And then occasionally you get a break. Occasionally one breaks the rule. We had Judd came and played here for quite a long time, which was awesome. A superstar who came and played here, who wasn't a West Australian. So it does happen. It's just rare. And same with Gold Coast, they got Rowell and Anderson. Nice, great mates. Keeps them there. They can live together or live down the road from each other, whatever. But yeah, Rankinene goes home. And so that's so out of that, one out of every, you need a catch, and that's with Harley Reid. What's keeping Harley Reid here? I mean, just think about if it was you. Hey, you're living across the other side of the country from your family. Your girlfriend lives on the other side of the country. So, and you can get paid as much, if not more, to play for a team that could potentially win a premiership and play finals. Why the fuck would you stay at the Eagles? There is no incentive, and the recruiters should know that when they recruit him. Rivers, both of those boys would probably be an easy walk-up 22, top 22 for the Eagles. Like we talked about, Chad Warner would have been an Eagle walk-up top 22, but we didn't get him. There's quite a few players out there. The only problem is why would you come to the Eagles? But I could see them coming to Freo, I can see them coming to Freo. Okay, then going shortly after. I mean, you definitely want to play better when you go for contract, right? I don't always believe that's the case. I think maybe that's a bit of a mind frame thing that, yeah, you're playing better when you're going for contract, but I don't think that's always the case. It might be a tribute to, that's the difference between the very good players and the elite players. The elite players, they don't give a shit. They go out and give 110% every week. They don't care what club they play for. They don't care if it's going, if the club gets flogged every week, they come out and they really perform and do very well. And that's why I gave a big shout out to Jeremy McGovern earlier on, and all the best to Jeremy for the Eagles. He came out and gave his fucking best every single week, no matter what. Didn't matter whether we were getting flogged or, winning premierships. You knew he was going to be there. You knew he was going to put his body on the line. You knew he was a superstar every single week. No, I wouldn't want Rivers and Van Runen for Harley Reid. I don't think they're not. I either want a superstar, which no, we're not getting any of them, like someone who's 24 or 5, like I'd take Chad Warner for Harley Reid, and maybe a draft pick or something. But otherwise, if it's not a superstar, give me the draft picks. I don't want any of these half-assed. It might be harsh on Van Ryn, but I haven't seen anything from him that says I'm going to be in your team in the top 22 every single week and I'm going to make your team better. The Eagles have fucked up severely in the last 5 or 6 drafts by bringing over people who are never going to be top 22, or they keep bringing over small forwards that just aren't in the best 22. They've been very average at their, they can't even make, if you're not in the top 22 of your club, why are we bringing you over? Unless you're a young man who can't make the team. Like all these ones, we brought over the guy from GWS, Langdon, played like 2 games, waste. He was a West Aussie, we brought him back, we're like, hey, it's all we can get. He's a West Australian. He played like 2 games. Like, what a waste. You might as well have got some rookie. We could have picked up some, with that same, instead of getting that player over, just kept that draft pick and got a WA rookie, which hopefully worked out. Yeah, Horse, a lot of people don't realise he's the fastest player in the AFL to reach, now I'm not sure this number, I think it's 6 All-Australians. He's the fastest player ever to reach a number of All-Australians, but I'm not too sure what the exact number is. I think it's 6. But in the history of the AFL, he's the fastest player ever to reach that many Australians. And that showed he is the best interceptor. He's the best in that position to ever play. And I'm not surprised he has to leave because of concussion, because he was never afraid to back into a pack or to get crunched to get that ball. He was an absolute legend, and all the best to him. And I hope one day that I bump into him down in the street somewhere over here in WA where I can shake his hand and say thank you very much for the service he played to the club. And he was always very modest as well. You know, fat country. He calls himself a chubby country kid that came and played. You know, very, very modest. He doesn't have a big head. You don't see him out there, you know, if something didn't go his way, he didn't crack the shits and have a, like, hissy fit. Who do I fancy? Who do I fancy? Do you do fantasy? I do, Flying Cow. I can give you a quick look at my fantasy team this year. I do all. I do AFL Fantasy, and I also do the Real Dream Team, which is, does anyone do this one? Am I the only one who's this sports deck? It's called the Real Dream Team, where it looks exactly the same as Supercoach, but it scores like fantasy. So look at this team. If only I had this team as my Supercoach team, I'd be laughing. I've got Holmes, Sheasel, Rosie, Sinclair, Clark and Mills, Brayshaw, Dawson, Sarong, Dacos, Rao, Liberatore, Bont and Butters, Gorn, and Marshall scores very well in this league. Smith, Petrarca, Warner, Daniel, Rankin, Horn Francis. I held Horn Francis in this league. I love the look of this team. There's only about 7,000 people play this one. So I'm 974 out of 7,000. That's not great considering there's only 7,000. But in AFL Fantasy, I am overall ranking of 19,000 this year. Usually there's less people play fantasy than Supercoach, I believe. Usually. Can't do it. But so this, and I kind of like this team as well, where we've got, you know, Sheasel, Sinclair, I've got McCarthy, Clark, Rosie, Mills, Liddy I brought in this week, but we also got Cadwell and Holmes, so I can move between the back and forward. Bont, Shearer, Sharong, Butters, Rao, Doherty, Gorn and Marshall again. Marshall is very good in normal fantasy. McRae, Horn Francis, kept them both. Petrarca, but it's going to be Bailey Smith, Warner, Daniel. So not my best season ever in fantasy, but yeah. So I play them all. I mean, I figure why not, right? You can win if I'm going to win, you can win 50k in Supercoach. You can win a Land Cruiser or whatever in fantasy. You play fantasy, Flying Cow? How's your team? How's your fantasy team going? So, yeah, I mean, I think I said this last live, that my friends sometimes who don't play Supercoach, they're like, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'll do some videos about Supercoach. They're like, oh, yeah, you know, is that any good? Can you win anything? I'm like, yeah, you can win 50k. And they're like, holy moly. You can win 50k? I'm like, yeah. Plus you can win 2k every week. Even if your team's not the best. Like in the buy rounds, some lucky bastard who just has, like this week, if you have if you could be ranked 100,000th, but you have no, you know, Bailey Smith or Holmes, you have no Brisbane players, you have no Essendon players, but the rest of your team, like, you've got 18 super primos and none of those players, you can literally win the 2k this week. Like last week, the top scorer last week is ranked 12,000 or something. Overall rank 20,000. He's the top scorer. He got a 2,500 last week because he's a lucky bastard. In the you know, in that round, he just happened to have bugger all people out, you know, and pretty much a full team. You know, plus get a bit lucky with a vice captain Jackson. So, you know, he's got the number one rank of the week, but he's ranked 20,000. So it just shows you can win that 2k. You can win the 2k. So it doesn't really, as long as you know, you got to be in it to win it. And that's what I think about the other competitions. Supercoach is my love, though. That's the one that, you know, the one I care about the most. It's the one that my friends, I have a league with all my good friends. Unlike me, my friends, they just play, they haven't got as much time as me. And they play one Supercoach team in one league, and that's it. No drafts, no anything. So I play Supercoach with at least 4 draft teams and at least a few leagues. I play fantasy. This year I didn't do any drafts, but at least most years I do a couple of drafts with fantasy as well. And a couple of leagues there. And then I do that other one. Usually no point doing a draft in this other one. There's no point in doing a draft in this one. But I kind of like the fact that I like the way that it's set up. It's set up like, you know, Supercoach, but it scores the other way. So it's a little bit different. I much prefer the setup this way, the fantasy. And now we have the flex. I do really like the flex. I think, what do you guys think of the flex? Like, I heard some other content creator a month or so ago having a bit of whinge, saying that he thinks it favours the people who, you know, aren't as good players, which is kind of, I think, funny for a content creator to say that, because the whole idea of us being content creators is to not just enjoy what we do, but to try and help other people in the community. Like, my advice is not always great. Last week I said, make Sherry your captain. Sherry your captain, he got a 79. That was some pretty shit advice. But, you know, one of the deals is that you can try and help people, especially new people to the game. Like, I might not be able to help someone like Horse, or someone who's in the top couple of hundred. We got Paris that comes and hangs out here with us sometimes, who's in the top couple of hundred. Even though I think having a chat about things just helps sometimes, not even just in fantasy, but in life. If you're having a bit of a rough time, just having a chat, you know, with one of your best mates, something is good. Yeah, so I'm the same, Horse. I think. And he was saying that he thinks it favours people who aren't as good as a gamer. I think it's the opposite. It favours... It's great because if you've got a good team and you have like a Whitfield situation like last week, and that's if this was this week and we have a Whitfield situation, well, great. We get, you know, McCarthy's score, and if McCarthy scores an 80... we don't lose our league just because we got unlucky. It's not because we have a bad team that we lose. It's because we get unlucky, and it takes a little bit of that luck out of it, which I like. So I actually think it's the opposite. The better player you are, the more the flex should help you. And, you know, yeah. I thought it was very weird that content creator was cracking it, because he's like, I think it helps the people who aren't as good, and I'm like, you should be helping the people that aren't as good. What are you talking about? That's what you're supposed to be doing. So I really like the flex. I really like the flexibility it provides. I think I learned my lesson that I'm still undecided about the whole ruck and the flex. We started off, we had Flynn there, and then we got Flynn later on, and then we got Marshall. Now, I'm thinking now, what happens if Sherry or Gawn gets injured? You know, say Gawn gets injured for, let's touch some wood, for 3 weeks now. I could cover by dropping Boyd and putting Sims back there, but that's still only like 40 points or whatever. I just have to cop the 0, right? At least I can cop that 0 without having to get somebody in. But is it still better to have a ruck here where it can cover and then bring down like a midfield rookie here or whatever in case somebody else has an injury or something? I think you know who I think the perfect flex is? The absolute perfect flex this year would be Luke Jackson. The mid forward ruck, you can swing the ruck and you can bring forward down in here. He would be the perfect flex. And I don't even know if he gets flex next year. I don't even know if he gets DPP next year. But he could be my number 1 pick if he keeps his forward status, which I don't think he's going to, which is going to be rough. It'll be the first year we haven't been able to have him as a forward for a few years. Selfishly, because I don't have him, I would love Darcy to come back and him to play forward a little bit more. Maybe he could get mid. Maybe that'd be... Imagine that. He comes back, Darcy comes back and he plays the midfield for the last 6 or 7 rounds or something. and he gets mid-ruck status, he'd be my first pick in my team. I'm thinking about it now. If Darcy doesn't play and he has any type of dual position, he will be the first pick in my team. Just because then you can cover it. But I also think that next year, with the right cash generation, the cash generation we've seen on most previous years, you can put another ruck here, anywhere from a 400 to a 550,000 ruck on the bench, and use them as a loophole. Yeah, don't want to lock with 3 rucks, but I'm just thinking that's fine if you've got some type of coverage here. If you've got like a Madden or a 99k player, or even a Flynn, say we kept Flynn here and he's worth 350k now, that'd be awesome, right? If one of these guys goes down, you'd put Flynn on and you would have your normal flex to cover it. The only worry I have now is with no covering ruck, if one of these guys goes down, I'll have the flex, but I'll have to wear the 0 if they goes down for 2 weeks. I'll wear the 0 in the ruck and hope the flex needs to play, and that there's no disasters, there's no Whitfield disasters anywhere else, which is better than past years. In past years, you just cop it, or you have to trade. In last years, you're like, Sherry's out for 1 week, but I get a 0 on the field. I think, you know, and I think that might have happened to me in the finals. One of the key rucks was out, itchy nose today, and I didn't have any trades, and I couldn't do anything about it. So, you know, you don't know what to do. You know, Gorn's out for 1 week. You don't have any coverage. You don't have a flex. Do you trade him for 1 week? You know, when you're low on trades or whatever. So it is much better with the flex. Let's just say that it is 100% better. And I think, like I said, this year our hands are slightly tied because of the cash generation. But next year, a little bit of luck, some more rookies that get a little bit fatter, make us a little bit more money, which we don't have to do as many trades to get. I really think we could almost have 25 primos. I think we can look to minimum 24, potentially 25, maybe even 26 if we had a really good year, but 25 primos. An extra primo in either the back line, the mid, in either 2 of the 3, like maybe the ruck, maybe, you know, that's why I'm thinking Jackson would be so good. Absolutely, you know, if I could have my time again, get a time machine and go back, I pick Jackson, start him off, and then he just sits in the flex position for the rest of the season. So good. What's the time? Alright, I think that might be close to the end, unless anybody wants to show their team out there on stream. Anyone want me to put your team and have a chat about it? Flying Cow, I'm looking at you. I guess before we go, we'll give a big thank you for everyone who's been here today. Please subscribe. We're trying to get up to those 300 subscribers before the end of the season. We're getting there. It is slow, but we are getting there. So if you're watching now, or if you're watching this video in the future, please do that. Give me a like down below, and yeah, leave a comment. Let me know who your trades are, you know, what's going on, how do you feel about the flex? Who would you be your number one? Let me ask you guys out there, who would be your number one flex? If you could pick any flex to have now, who would you be picking? And yep, so thank you, Horsehead in the bed, Flying Cow Brian. There, everyone who's had a chat with me today. If you go back up to the beginning of the chat, we do have my X. If you want to go and follow me on Twitter or X and see when I go live. We'll probably be going live tomorrow morning, again similar time, same bat place. Yep, probably, but I will. I also put up my final trades once again. If you're with us here and you're wondering what I'm doing, there are my final trades. So I'll put up my final trades, and I put up my score for what I got each week up on X. So please come and follow me. I don't have many followers, so that will make me happy. Yeah, and I guess we'll call that it. Hey, it's a pretty good chat we had today. So I hope everyone has an awesome day. If you're around, come say g'day tomorrow. Me and Skippy will be here again. And yeah, everyone, hope it's an awesome day. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See you then.